Predator Collection 4K movie review. Let's do this. Hey everyone, my name is Rob. Welcome back to my YouTube channel called The Movie Vault. Let's talk about movies. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that little bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Predator 3 movie collection 4K review. There's Blu-ray discs in here as well. We're going to compare them. Quick look at the artwork here. I like the cover art on the front of the box here. It's one of these slide out boxes. There is the artwork on the 4K and the Blu-ray discs inside. Nothing fancy on the 4K. Blu-ray discs have some artwork, but these are old Blu-rays. Let's talk about each of the movies here. Predator, first one, 1987, 107 minutes long, 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio, nice full screen picture. 4K disc, this is a 2018 restoration 4K disc versus a 2010 Blu-ray disc version of the movie. Now, let's take a look at these. You will see here the 4K disc has a lot more detail as you would expect. Film grain is more obvious. It looks to me like the Blu-ray disc has some noise reduction, grain smoothing. They've done something there on that 2010 Blu-ray version of Predator. An example is the kind of handshake arm wrestling scene with Arnie and Carl Weathers at the start of the movie. You can see on the 4K disc the grain is a lot more present in there, and the Blu-ray disc just looks Photoshop beautified. It looks terrible. Another scene we'll look at here is the interior of the helicopter when the team is about to get dropped into the jungle. You can see there's a lot more details in the shadow on the 4K disc as compared to the Blu-ray disc. Same thing again here. Later on in the movie, you'll see when the Predator has injured and he's going to kind of heal himself, repair himself. You can see a lot more detail in the shadows there. The Blu-ray disc has an overall brighter look to it, but in my opinion, the HDR kicks in on the 4K disc and looks a lot better. You get a lot more detail in the brights and the shadows on the 4K disc. In terms of the color grade, they are pretty similar to 4K and the Blu-ray, except the Blu-ray disc is a lot brighter. As I mentioned, it kind of looks whitewashed at times. It's just so bright, it's stupid looking. The greens of the jungle and the blood red is like really vibrant on the 4K disc. 4K disc over the Blu-ray disc, 100% for Predator. Audio quality is the same on both the 4K and the Blu-ray disc. You're getting that DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround mix. Great mix on action scenes and stuff like that, really well done. You're getting 94 minutes of bonus content on Predator and 2 audio commentaries as well. Everything is featured on the Blu-ray disc. The 4K disc just has those 2 audio commentaries by the director and the writers, I believe it was. Let's take a look at Predator 2. This one rolls up in 1990, 107 minutes long. Again, 1.85 to 1 aspect ratio, full screen picture. Once again, this is a 2018 4K restoration disc, and this is a 2008 Blu-ray release that we're comparing both here in this review. Once again, we're going to see on the 4K disc, we're going to get a lot more detail, the film grain. There is a wider color range, color depth on the 4K disc as compared to the Blu-ray disc. The Blu-ray disc is going to have that kind of brighter, washed out kind of look to it. Let's take a look at this scene here in the meat factory towards the end of the movie. You can see here the barrels have a lot more brown color to them, natural color to the barrels. The meat hanging on the hooks, you can see the red in them. When we compare that 4K picture to the Blu-ray, you can see it's just a much more flatter looking picture. There is no color depth, color range on the Blu-ray disc. And once again, in this picture here from the finale scene of Predator 2, you can see on the 4K disc, inside the ship is all supposed to look red behind, and we compare the exact same scene to the Blu-ray disc. The reds are orange, and it's just completely different look to the movie altogether. Audio wise, once again, 4K and the Blu-ray are the same. DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround mix. Nice sound mix, can't complain there. 68 minutes of bonus content on Predator 2. The 4K disc has 2 audio commentaries. The Blu-ray disc has all the bonus features and the 2 audio commentaries also. Predators is up next. This is a 2010 movie, 102 minutes long. This is a 2.40 to 1 aspect ratio scopes. You're going to get black bars top and bottom of your screen. This is an interesting one, guys, because this movie was shot digitally, not on film. It has it's a HD cam source, so it's a 1080 master format source, video HD TV source. They converted that to a 2K digital intermediate. If you want to learn more about that, link up in this top corner where I explain restorations and how they are done. So this makes for an interesting one here, guys. We have a 2018 4K disc and a 2010 Blu-ray disc to compare. So technically this 4K is not a 4K, it's a 2K blow up to 4K, so it's going to be interesting to see here. I do believe the 4K disc benefits from the HDR, the high dynamic range. There's a lot more color depth, which we're going to show you examples here in these photos. It's fairly obvious the 4K is still better than the Blu-ray, even though the 4K is not a 4K, it's a 2K blow up. Once again, you see a lot more shadows and depth in the shadows in this opening scene here in the jungle on the 4K disc as compared to the Blu-ray disc. Now, this scene later on where the gang of assassins kind of come to the edge of the forest and realise they're on a different planet, they look up to the sky. Look at the 4K disc here, guys. You can see the oranges and the yellows are present a lot more. When we switch to the Blu-ray disc, the yellows and the oranges are barely even there. The Blu-ray disc, once again, is whitewashed out, it seems to me. It's a lot more brighter looking, but there's no detail in the colour there. Audio wise, again, they're both the same. DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 surround mix. Nice mix again. The action scenes, you kind of feel inside of the action, really well done on the mix on all three movies here, I would say. So on this one, we're getting 72 minutes of bonus features. There is an audio commentary with the director and Robert Rodriguez on the 4K disc. Everything else is on the Blu-ray disc. All those bonus features are over there on the Blu-ray disc. So once again, no surprise, we learned that the 4K discs look a lot better than the Blu-ray versions here in this Predator movie 4K collection. Highly recommend picking this up if you don't have any of these on 4K. If you have them on Blu-ray, you may be happy enough with that, but when you see them compared to the 4K discs here, 4K is unbelievable. Even on Predators, as I mentioned, it's a 2K blow up. Really surprised by that. You can still get a lot more in the HDR, the high dynamic range, the color range, color depth on the 4K, even though it's a blow up compared to the Blu-ray disc. I came from only having Predator on a really old 2-disc DVD collector's edition. Never had Predator 2 in the collection. Predators I had on DVD, so I never had any of these on Blu-ray. So the 4K was a really welcome upgrade here to my collection. I'm really delighted with the restoration Fox done on Predator. It looks absolutely fantastic on 4K. Really recommend that one as an addition to your collection. Same again with Predator 2. Looks really good. It's just a shame. Predator 2 is not one of my favourite movies. I've loved Predator since I was a kid. You know, it starts off like the typical Arnie kind of commando action army movie, and then completely turns, you know, with the sci-fi horror twist with the Predator kind of arriving and all that going on. Really, really great movie. Predator 2, I like the idea of the city setting. I think I said it before in a video on the channel. I just don't find it believable that, like, Danny Glover is the one who's going to take out the Predator. I just didn't like that aspect of it all. I didn't believe in the characters in the movie. Predators I really liked. I thought it was a good idea to let's get back to the jungle. Let's get out to a different planet. We see some similarities with the Alien franchise where they wanted to get to the alien planet, you know, talking about earlier sequels in the franchise. I liked the idea. And I liked Adrian Brody in there as kind of the lead, but when you look at Predators a couple of times, it's like almost at times a shot for shot remake of Predator. Same shots in the jungle, same score is in there throughout, you know, just a lot of the same things, same music, the helicopter, the tape they're playing. I think it's trying to be Predator a little bit too much, but again, you have to give it to them for innovation. Nice movie, left it wide open for a sequel, which didn't happen, unfortunately. So there you have it, guys. That wraps up my Predator collection 4K review. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and consider hitting that bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Don't forget to check out links in the description for my Patreon account and my t-shirt store if you want to help support the Movie Vault in other ways and get access to that exclusive content not featured here on the main channel. I really appreciate you guys watching the video. Thanks as always. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.